Hi, have a look at the business logos of various organizations. Now, tell me something. Have you come across these logos before? Yes, you would have really come across some of these logos before. Now, what is that one thing which is common amongst all these business organizations? Now, immediately you will tell me that the one thing which is common among all these business organizations is all these business organizations are highly successful. Now, these business organizations are successful because of what? Whom do these business organizations attribute success to? Do they attribute the success to the investor who have invested the money in this business organization? Are, are these business organizations successful because of the stakeholders of the organization? Are these business organization is successful because of luck? Or is because of the founder of the business organization? Or is it because of the blessing of God? Yes, all these are some of the attributes which are contributing to the success of the business organization. But apart from that, there is one predominant factor which attributes to the success of any business organization. And you know what is it? It is the people who are working in the business organization. Yes, my dear friends, it is the people who actually drive to the success of the business organization. And that is one of the reason what Zig Ziglar has supposed to tell you. He says that you don't have to build a business. You build people and then people build your business. So if you can build good people or good employees in your business organization, these employees will help you to build good business. And these are the words of Zig Ziglar. Zig Ziglar was a famous marketing person and a motivational speaker in the United States of America. We lost him in the year 2012. Now there are some other statements, given on people in terms of how they are contributing to the business. And one such statement is given by N.R. Narayan Murthy. N.R. Narayan Murthy is the founder and chairman of Infosys. He says, our assets walk out of the door each evening. We have to make sure that they come back the next morning. Look at the word what he has used here, assets. So when do you use the word asset? Asset is something which is actually used when you have a very priceless position with you. So he treats employees as assets and he has to ensure that his assets are satisfied so that they are retained in the organization. And very similar, Steve Jobs, he says, great things in business are never done by one person, they are done by a team of people. Yes, Steve Jobs used to believe in creativity, he used to believe in innovation, and he used to believe in teamwork. So it is the team which actually drives the success of any organization. So a successful team is a group of people with many hands and one mind. Yes, if you want your organization to grow, you need to have a successful team with you. And this team is nothing but group of people with many hands and one mind. They should all focus towards one particular objective. United we stand, divided we fall. So if this team stands united, then what happens? The business organization grows and they reap success. If they are divided, they fall. Now how do you ensure that this team is built? Who is responsible for building this particular team? Who actually drives this particular team? And who ensures that the success of the team is actually success of the business organization? It is not just the organization being successful. It is also equally important that the organization retains its successful stature in the coming years. So who does that? Who is the backbone behind this? Yes, the backbone is human resource management. So human resource management is one management discipline which basically drives your business to a successful venture. Now this video series would focus on the various aspects of human resource management, and in today's session I am going to give you an brief overview of human resource management. I am going to talk about the basic concepts of human resource management and objectives of human resource management. This is Balu here from Sri Pradyumna Technologies, Bangalore. Okay, so before we deep dive into human resource management, let's try and understand what an organization is. Now when I mean organization in the rest of my video series, it actually means we are talking about business organization. Now what is a classical definition of an organization? It is a group of individuals working together to achieve one or more objectives. Yes, any organization would have to achieve one or more objectives. Now when you mean objectives, they are nothing but the goals set aside for the company or the organization, are the final results an organization is supposed to deliver. Now these organizations would have objectives, and objectives would be many, and one of them would be called as a primary objective. Now what is the primary objective of any organization? It is to make profit. Now which organization today does not want to make profit? So one of the primary objective of an organization is to actually make profit. The other objectives could be it has to provide good customer service. It has to have employee retention. Now have a look at this word, employee retention. That is one of the objectives of the organization. If you remember, Narayan Murthy used the word asset. Now this asset is nothing but he has to retain the employees. Narayan Murthy called his employees as assets because he wanted to retain them. So employee retention is one of the primary objectives of your organization. And growth, who does not want to have growth today? Any organization would require growth. Now what are the examples of organizations? You have companies. A company could be a private limited company, or it could be a limited liability partnership company. It could be an industry, or it could be a business firm. It could be a proprietorship firm, or it could be a partnership firm. Now all these are some examples of organization. Now let's take an example how all these fits in together. Now let's say that you want to start up a company, and you would want to start up a company in relevance to travel services, offering travel services to the end users or the consumers. Now let's call this company as Hassle-Free Travel Pvt.Ltd, Limited, as I have coined the name. Now you have outlined some services what you want to offer. For example, you would want to book air, train and bus tickets to your end users or consumers. You would want to book accommodation for your customers if at all they are traveling outstation, or if they are going on a vacation, so you want to book their accommodation. You would assist them in car rentals, for example picking them from the airport, dropping them back to the airport or to the railway station or to the bus stand, or even for sightseeing. You would allocate them tourist guides if at all it is necessary, and you would also help them in passport and visa if they are going on an international travel, and you would also help them in foreign exchange, because foreign exchange would be an important service you want to offer them if you are actually catering to the customers for international travel. So these are some of the services which you want to offer. And your organization should also have certain objectives and goals. As I told you that what is an objective of an organization? It is the end result what an organization has to achieve. It should make profit, because once you start your company, you would have invested a lot of money in that company. You want to make profit out of it. And you want to provide quality service. Now what is quality? Customers delight. The customer should be happy about your service. And you should also ensure that the employees who are working with the organization, or the employees who are working with you or under you, should actually be there in the organization for some time. They have to feel cordial in working with you, and you should also grow, and your organization should also grow. So these are some of the broad services and objectives of your organization. Now how do you achieve this? Now if you want to achieve this, you need to have resources. Without resources, you cannot build an organization. So what are the kind of resources you would need? The first resource you would need is an investment, a capital investment. What we call it as a financial resource. So without financial resource, you cannot build an organization today. You need an infrastructure. Basically you need an office to actually work. So you need a company which has to be taken on rent, or you need to hire a building. Or if you are building an industry, you need to actually build a factory. So infrastructure is very important. Now since you are actually dealing with travel, you would need fleet of cars, because you said that car rental is one of the services of your Hassle-Free Travel Pvt.Ltd. Limited. So you would require fleet of cars. You would require office furniture for your employees. You would require computers, which is very important for maintaining your accounts, your computers for having your website developed, computers for communicating, for inter-office communication, etc. And more importantly, you need to have people, the human resource, which is very important resource of your organization. Now, what is the kind of human resource you require? What are the various human resources you require? You would require a manager who would basically manage your company. You would require an legal consultant who will help you on legal issues. You would require a marketing personnel who will help you in marketing your services. Now you have started your company, you want somebody to market your services and products to the customers. So who will do that? You need to have a marketing person, and he has to set up a marketing team. You need to have a delivery system, a fleet of delivery boys who would actually deliver tickets to the doorsteps of the customers. You need to have maintenance staff who keeps your office clean and tidy, maintain the good ambience. You need to have an accountant who maintains your day-to-day accounting financial transactions, who maintains your balance sheet, who files your GST, who takes care of your government compliances, etc. You need to have fleet of drivers, and more importantly, you need to have a beautiful receptionist who basically talks to your customers, who makes them to welcome the customers, who handles your telephone calls, who fixes up appointments. You also need to have a system administrator who maintains your IT gadgets. So these are some of the resources which you need to have in terms of human resource as far as organization is concerned. Now, it is not just having a resource. You need to ensure that you manage this resource effectively, because resource management is also one of the primary concerns in human resource management. So how do you manage the resource? So what do you mean by managing the resource? Managing the resource is managing the resource effectively and efficiently. We'll talk about that later. What is an effective and efficient managing of resources? So know that a successful business requires good resource management. Now, if you want to run your business successfully, you need to manage the resources properly. Now, what are the different kinds of resource management you need to do? So you need to do finance resource management, because one of your basic resource for setting up the company was finance. So you need to manage that resource properly. You need to manage infrastructure management. That is, you have to manage your infrastructure, and it's called the infrastructure management. You need to manage your inventory, which is called as an inventory management. It is the things, whatever items you have in your office, in terms of your stationery, in terms of your letterheads, in terms of all the items which you use in your day-to-day activities. And you need to do asset management. Asset management talks about fixed assets, maybe your company, your office furniture, etc. So all these are, management of resources, and you need to manage them effectively and efficiently. Now have a look at this point which I have mentioned here. Resource management is the process by which business manage their various resources effectively and efficiently. So you have to effectively manage the resource, and you also have to efficiently manage the resource. These two terms, effectiveness and efficiently, is very commonly used in management terms. Now, what do you mean by effectiveness? Effectiveness means doing right things. Doing right things. And efficiently means doing things right. Now, this is the basic difference between effectiveness and efficiency. So what is doing right things and what is doing things right? There's a vast difference. So let me give you a simple example. Let's say that you are a manager of a company, and you ask your delivery boy to actually deliver, say, air tickets to one of your consumers or your customer. Now what your delivery boy does is, he delivers the ticket to the customer, but he takes longer time to deliver, and he is wasting a lot of time, resources to deliver that particular ticket to his customer. So he is effective in doing it, but he may not be efficient in doing it. Now what is efficiency? Doing things by using minimum resources is called as efficiency. So resource management actually deals with effectiveness as well as efficiency. So if your delivery boy actually delivers the ticket in a lesser time by incurring lesser expense, then we can say that he was efficient in actually delivering the tickets to the customer. So you have to be effective as well as efficient. Now, what exactly is human resource management? So in order to define this human resource management, we have to split this human resource management into three terms: human, resource, and management. Now let's first take the dictionary meanings of human resource management and try and see what a human is and what a resource is and what a management is. So what does the dictionary say on human? Human is a man, a woman, or a child. Now we are not worried about child here because a child is out of context when we are talking of human resource management, because any business organization do not appreciate child labor. So it's either a man or a woman who has achieved 18 years of age and who can take up the work. Now what is a resource? A necessary asset whose main aim is to help carry out a certain task. An asset. A human resource is an asset because it's a prized possession of any business manager or any business organization, because without that asset he cannot proceed further. And what is management? A set of activities directed at the efficient and effective utilization of resources in pursuit of one or more goals. So you need to have management policies to basically use this human resource in an effective and an efficient way. Now all these things put together becomes human resource management. Now how do you actually define this human resource management in very simple terms? It is a process of managing employees in a company. Very simple. So what is a human resource management? It is the process of managing employees in a company. So what does it actually mean? It actually means it involves various stages. You are going to recruit employees. After recruitment, you are going to train them. After training them, you are going to evaluate them, and you are going to promote them. Now once your employees are recruited, you need to enhance their skill sets by training the employees. And after the training the employees, you are going to put them on the job. Now once you put them on the job, you're going to monitor them and see whether they are constantly doing their job properly or not, whether they're accurately doing their job properly or not. So depending upon that, you are going to appraise them by hiking their salary or giving them a promotion. So this cycle continues. Now this is basically human resource management. Now sometimes human resource management acts as an interface between company and its employees. Now it is very important that every organization would have a top management, maybe board of directors, a chief executive officer, a vice president, a chief technology officer, etc. And there are managerial employees, there are subordinate employees, there are shop floor employees. Now what happens is sometimes the human resource management license between the top management and the employees of the organization in case if there are any grievances. So if there are any grievances to be settled, or if there is any communication to be passed, important communications to be passed, then human resource manager acts as a middleman between the top management and the lower management of the organization. Now there are some standard definitions of human resource management. There is one definition given by M.J. Usius. Now he is supposed to be called as one of the management gurus. He says the field of human resource management involves planning, organization, directing, and controlling functions of procuring, developing, maintaining, and utilizing a labor force. Look at the words here: developing, maintaining, and utilizing a labor force. Now labor force exclusively means employees here, but developing and maintaining are the two words which is point of importance here. Developing means enhancing the skill sets of your employees, and maintaining means retaining them so that your employees do not leave the organization. And there's another person by name Dale Yoder. Now he says HRM is the provision of leadership and direction of people in their working or employment relationship. So Yoder gives emphasis on leadership quality. And Ricky V. W. Griffin says human resource management is the set of organizational activities directed at attracting, developing, and maintaining an effective workforce. So almost all definitions are almost similar to each other. They more or less talk on how do you develop an employee and how do you actually maintain them in terms of skill sets, and also to ensure that the retention time is more. Now there are certain objectives of human resource management. Now, so far we saw a brief overview of what a human resource management is. Now we shall focus on some of the objectives of human resource management. Now these objectives, fall under 4 sections. We call them as organizational objectives, functional objectives, personal objectives, and societal objectives. Now, in order to understand what is an organizational objective of a human resource management, first let us understand what is an organizational objective of an organization. Let's say that you are going to start up a company. Say you want to start up a company which would manufacture mobile phones. Now, your intention is to ensure that you release new mobile phones into the market. Now, how should be your organizational objective? Now, this organizational objectives has been divided into various layers. Like you have tactical objectives, you have strategic objectives, you have the mission and vision of a company. Now, what is this tactical objectives? Tactical objectives says introduce 3 new mobile phones. That means when you start a company, your objective is to introduce 3 new mobile phones. And what is your strategic objectives? Gain 50% market share in mobile segment. Now once you introduce mobile phones, it is very important for you to promote those mobile phones. And you should have a marketing target very clear in mind. So what is that marketing target which you have actually set? It is set that you gain 50% market share in the mobile segment. Now that's quite huge. And you also have the mission of the organization which says to make products that outperform competitors. So your mobile phone should be so well developed that it should actually outperform other competitors. That means it should have more facilities and features so that people start buying your mobile phones. And finally, you have a vision of the company which says to be the leading mobile manufacturer in the world. So this should be the final vision of your organization. So that means what? The organizational objectives are very clear. What is the end result of your organization? Why are you starting your organization? You're starting the organization to ensure that you're going to be a leading mobile manufacturer in the world. And this cannot happen overnight. So organizational objectives has to be achieved in a progressive way. And many people have to actually contribute towards achieving this particular vision of the company. Now, every company today have a mission and a vision statement. Okay. Now, for example, I have given you the mission and vision statement of Google. Now, what is the mission statement of Google? To organize the world's information and make it universally accessible and useful. How clear it is. That is what is Google trying today hard, and it has been trying for so many years. The main mission statement of Google is to ensure that the information is at your fingertips. Now take any app of Google today, be it Google Earth or be it Google App or even be it Google search engine. What is the final objective of all these apps that Google has developed? It wants to ensure that the information is in your fingertips. And the vision statement is this information should come faster to you, which means that to provide access to the world's information in one click, all you have to do is go to Google, type the search string and click on search, the information is available to you. Now this is the vision and mission statement of Google. Like this, all companies today have vision and mission statements. Even today, colleges and universities have vision and mission statement. So vision and mission statement contribute to the organizational objectives of the company. Now how does it relate to HRM? Now you have company with organizational objectives, but what HRM has to do with it? Yes, it is the human resource management which actually enables the business to get and deliver the organizational objectives. Now, how does it do it? How does human resource management enable the organization to meet its objectives? So how does it do? It does it through human resource planning. It does it through recruitment and selection. It does it through training and development. Now, as I told you that you had certain objectives which was actually planned. You had organizational objectives in terms of tactical objectives, you had strategic objectives, you had mission and vision of a company. Now what was the tactical objective? You had to introduce 3 new mobile phones to the market. How can you do this? If you want to introduce 3 new mobile phones to the market, you need to have manpower to do it. And you cannot simply employ a fresher engineer to do the job. You have people who have experience, in actually designing mobile phones. They would have worked on this project before. They should have highly creative and innovative knowledge on telecommunication. They should have clear-cut knowledge on the competitor products. So you need to hire them. You need to plan for such resources for hiring. Upon hiring, you need to recruit them. You need to perform salary negotiations with them. You need to recruit them. You need to sign with them the contract. And finally, you have to select and put them on training and development. Now, who does all these? All these are done by human resource management staff. So human resource management staff is predominantly responsible for enabling your organization to achieve its organizational objectives. Now, what are the functional objectives of your human resource management? Now, main functional objectives of human resource management is to maintain department contribution in organizational effectiveness. So we know that any business organization would have various departments. Now, we have to ensure that employees are fit in the relevant departments. For example, you have a separate department for R&D. You have a separate department for marketing. You have a separate department for technology innovation. You have a separate department for sales. You have a separate department for accounts and finance. The human resource, when it does planning and it recruits employees, it has to ensure that it puts the right person in the right department at the right place at the right time. Now, this is one of the main important functional aspects of your human resource management in terms of achieving your functional objective. Now, there is a fact that 57% of organizations view employee retention as a problem, and 22% of the new hires leave their jobs within 45 days of being hired. That means you can see that employee retention is one of the functional objectives of your human resource management. You have to ensure that the employees retain in your organization. So how do you do that? You have to ensure that you have a kind of a cordial contract with the employee. You need to have counselors in your business organization to talk to the employee, see if he's facing any problem, and see that he works with you for a longer time. You also have to see that the functional aspects also see that he has to do the performance appraisal. Now, what is performance appraisal? Appreciating the job, giving him salary hike. Now, these are also some of the functional objectives of human resource management. Now, there are some personal objectives of human resource management. Now, what are personal objectives? To assist employees in achieving their personal or individual goals. Sounds strange, but that is a fact today. Any human resource management has to have the mentor-mentee relationship within the organization. What is this mentor-mentee relationship? Mentor-mentee relationship is all about putting the subordinates together and ensuring that both of them come on some common goals and see that both of them achieve it. Now, once personal objectives are achieved, when employees are satisfied and motivated. Now, when employees are really satisfied and motivated, they are very certain to achieve their personal objectives. And we all know that the satisfied employees provide us excellent services. They add value to the organization. And what else you need? When an employee adds a value to the organization, your organization performance becomes excellent. You reap success. Now, this is one of the main important factors of human resource management, that they have to act upon the personal objectives of all the employees who are working in the organization. Now, apart from that, human resource management also has to perform societal objectives. Now, what do you mean by societal objectives? How can human resource management contribute to the society? Through the infrastructure, through the business process of your organization. Now, to be socially responsible for the needs of the society, and this is called as corporate social responsibility. What we call it as the CSR factor. Today, corporate social responsibility has become one of the predominant factor in any business today. Okay, and HRM plays a key role in making the CSR initiative possible. Now, I have given you some examples of what companies are doing with respect to CSR. Now, you take an example of a company called Infosys. Now, what Infosys is doing today, Infosys is having a separate branch called Infosys Foundation. So what they do, they help in removing malnutrition, They are improving the healthcare infrastructure. That is one of the corporate social responsibility initiative they are following, and they are also helping in preserving Indian art and culture. Now this CSR initiative is driven by Narayan Murthy's wife, Sudha Narayan Murthy, and she is working very hard in bringing out the CSR initiatives. Similarly, you have Tata Chemicals. So Tata Chemicals is actually working on a CSR initiative which is called Save the Whale Shark Campaign. Like how you had, Save the Royal Bengal Tiger. Similarly, now you have the Save the Whale Shark campaign, because whale sharks are actually becoming obsolete nowadays. So in order to save them, Tata Chemicals have come out with a CSR initiative. Similarly, ITC Limited talks about women empowerment. They organize a lot of programs on women empowerment. So these are some of the societal objectives of human resource management. And human resource management societal objective is not only to the contribution of the society, it is also sometimes internal to the organization. Now what it could be? Something like organization should be ethical in procurement. So societal objective also lays a rule that the human resource management performs ethical recruitment. Now what do you mean by ethical recruitment? It means hiring an employee should not be based on caste, ethnicity and race. Very important. You cannot hire an employee based on caste, ethnicity and race. Now this is one of the societal objective of an HRM as far as the recruitment is concerned. Okay, now we can broadly classify these objectives as organizational objectives, functional objectives, personal objectives and societal objectives. Now, as I now we have understood what is the overview of human resource management and what are the objectives of human resource management. Now, thank you for watching this particular video session. I'll see you in my next video session where I'll talk to you about the functions of human resource management. Please don't forget to like, subscribe and comment my video. Thank you. Till next time. Goodbye. Take care.